The sports leader. 95.7 FM and AM 950. The Fan. Rochester.
Always live on the free Odyssey app.
The Sports Bar with Danger and Battaglia.
As we all know, it is also the 22nd anniversary of 9/11, and we never want to forget that day.
Just a terrible, insane day, and thoughts and prayers still with people affected by that. And we're talking sports, but we have not forgotten, of course, what that means and what it meant. And one of those moments of national unity, which is so rare, right, and something so horrible, people coming together.
It's an honor for the Bills to be playing in that game, and I hope they show up big time as a tribute to those people who lost their lives.
Bills Jets tonight! Prime time! Let's go!
Buffalo is not expected to dress DeMar Hamlin. He is healthy. This is just a roster decision.
Aaron Rodgers makes his Jets debut tonight against the Buffalo Bills.
Aaron Rodgers!
He's a bad man.
That's a Jet touchdown!
Mike Danger.
It's nice to be needed. The Bills win 24-20. I think it'll be a close, compelling, competitive game, but I do think the Bills have enough talent to take them 24-20.
Gene Battaglia.
The Buffalo Bills are not going to win this game. You're too much. It's a long season. The Bills will be okay, but they do not win week
I got to get inside your brain a little bit here.
Guys, I like the Bills. I like the Bills a lot.
And let's go Buffalo!
The Bills with Josh Allen, Von Miller, eventually Stephon Diggs are too talented, and there'll be separation. And this is one of those games where probably everybody will overreact if Big Jets win, and then everybody will come back to reality.
We're abbreviated, obviously. You've got pregame starting at 4 o'clock for Monday Night Football between the Bills and the Jets. It's what we call the heavy lift here in the sports bar. At the end, that was it.
Touchdown! 95.7 FM and AM 950 The Fan. Rochester.
We're rising up. Back on the streets. Took our time, took our chances. I don't know the rest. Welcome into the sports bar, the heavy lift version of the sports bar. You've got us for 60 minutes. 60 minutes as we have Monday Night Football to prepare for here, and pregame starting at 4 o'clock. We're the pregame to the pregame.
I get the sense that everybody in town's a little distracted today, or you're at work and you're just trying to be productive. But you're counting down the minutes. You're counting down the hours.
Influx of people wearing their Bills gear to work today, if you're going to work at all. Hey, look, if you took today off, you're better at planning than I am. Should have taken today off because I don't feel very productive after everything we did yesterday. And now, on top of it all, the Bills are playing tonight. This is what week one in the NFL feels like.
I feel like we're late to the party here, honestly. Like, I liked the Bills opening up Thursday Night Football last year on opening night in L.A. And, all right, finally we get the Buffalo Bills football tonight.
Yes. Wow. Lots to react to. Lots to overreact to from yesterday's action, week one of the NFL. We will get to a lot of that here during our abbreviated sports bar as we're on with you until 4 o'clock when the Buffalo Bills radio network takes over and we get you ready for kickoff just after 8 o'clock tonight. On the Fan, we can start by saying you're welcome to join us with your thoughts on yesterday's action, your predictions for tonight's game as well. The Good Smoke Barbecue and Pub Wingman line is open for you at 866-4FAN, 866-4326. Award-winning barbecue from Good Smoke Barbecue and Pub and the new location at 135 West Commercial Street in East Rochester, goodsmokebbq.com.
No guests today, so just open lines for 1 hour. Normally we tell you who's coming up on the show, but again, we are abbreviated. We got to get you to the pregame show at 4 o'clock today. And
and not to interrupt you, I'm sorry, but the show open did a little bit of this. We should probably acknowledge as well, impossible to forget the events of 22 years ago. Tonight is a special night, and it is a privilege that the Bills are out there and that they have the opportunity to play on the anniversary of 9/11, a day that we all kind of reflect and remember where we were and think of those who paid an ultimate sacrifice.
It hits everybody differently, memories about that day. So when I went down to New York, and again, I went to college in New York, so I have a different perspective, but I wasn't down in college when that happened. But a lot of my friends were. And when the executive producer and I were telling some of our close friends, we were going to go visit the memorial, which we had never done, you realize, there are a lot of New Yorkers that have yet to do that because they here they are, some decades later, that they haven't come to terms with what had happened that day. So it's something that we should never, ever, ever forget. I'm stating the obvious here. And what I always like to do, Danger, is I like to kind of listen to things that happen, or watch things that happened that day. I thought Howard Stern that morning was fantastic, the way he described what was happening and the horrors of it, and that's available on YouTube and whatnot. So where we're going to watch football and everything tonight, I thank you for hitting the pause button.
Yeah, here's what I'm concerned. But we forget what the days and weeks following that were like, because it was tragic and shocking and horrifying. But And it's a shame that it took something as tragic and shocking and horrifying to do this, but we were truly United States for those days and weeks after this horrible event. We were bound. We were all kind of unified, all believing in America once again. And a lot has kind of changed since then, and I think we forget just how strong we are when we are united, when we are truly the United States. It's been a while since and I don't want anything tragic to happen to force us to get back to that mode, but we were certainly in that mode, if you remember where we were 22 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. I never want to go through anything like that to be like.
I don't want something tragic to happen to unify us. It's a shame that it took something tragic to unify us. I just wish we were unified again the way we were for those days afterwards.
Well, now I'm going to make the uncomfortable pivot here over to sports.
Yes, sir.
Sports, but
Go ahead.
It's like if you're at an Amherst game and the barn is full and there's 10,000 people for a playoff game. That's the fun thing. Like, we're just going to kind of escape here and watch this hockey game, and you're with people, and Amherst score, you're all jumping up, and you're all high-fiving one another, strangers around you.
That's sports.
Sports.
Sports is the great unifier. It should be the great unifier. It should always be the great unifier. It's our escape. We love it. And it's a privilege to be able to talk about it here with you every afternoon in the sports bar. We don't take it for granted. Hope you don't take it for granted as well. And sports was the great unifier then, too. I remember 22 years ago, we were all wondering, when are we going to get back to what? And when sports came back, it came back in glorious fashion. And it was an escape, and it unified us, much like it did once again after the pandemic. I mean, remember after the pandemic, how when sports did come back, it came back with a flurry, and it just felt like it brought us back together. We got that feeling again. Unity. It's something that we just don't have enough of today. And hopefully sports can be that thing that does unify us tonight. Well, you're either a Jets fan or a Bills fan. There is no unity there.
No. I want Jet fan turning on one another. Yes. I want booing.
Yes.
Way back in the day of Danger, you had fires up in the stands on a Monday Night Football game, Jets hosting the Bills. I mean, we don't want that, but I'd love to see everybody kind of empty out tonight. From a Buffalo's perspective, that would be funny. I don't see it happening. I'm not going to retreat on my take. This is the one defense that gives Josh Allen problems. That's a fact. And now you kind of sprinkle in, hey, there's a quarterback on the other side. There's no choice. He has to play his best football. Traditionally, Aaron Rodgers starts slow. He can't do it under this spotlight after everything. So it's not a game where we come back tomorrow and say, oh, my gosh, what the heck is wrong? Like Giant fans, what is wrong? Steeler fans, what is wrong? I don't think we're saying that about the Buffalo Bills tomorrow morning.
Depends on how they lose. If they lose. First of all, I think they're winning. I think they're winning tonight. I still think they have the Jets' number. I'm curious about Aaron Rodgers, but I know he's an improvement. He's obviously an improvement over what they had last year. And they almost beat the Bills with Mike White and Zach Wilson last year. They did beat the Bills with Zach Wilson last year. So I'm not going to say that Rodgers is the reason why I'm concerned about this. It is the defense. It is the Jets' defense that gives me pause. But I have the Bills winning 24-20 tonight. I think Josh Allen is able to do enough against that defense. And I think Aaron Rodgers does some, but not a ton of damage against this Bills defense. And I was going in a direction, and now I forget what direction I was going in, Gene. The thing that's great about the heavy lift show is that we come in a little bit more relaxed, unprepared, maybe is the word, unscripted.
I feel like, is this what it's like to do like a your 1 hour podcast every day?
I know where I was going. I was going with the idea that if the Bills lose and it's 24-20, like I'm winning 24-20, if they lose 24-20 and it's competitive and it's close, we're not having the same day tomorrow as Steeler fan is having today, as Giant fan is having today.
Yes, that's what I was just saying. Or Bengal fan. How about the Bengals throwing for less than 100 yards? Fantastic against those Elves.
We made Joe Burrow the highest paid player ever, and he can't find the end zone in week 1. Never change, Bengals. Never change.
No. And of all the games, can we just be honest? Football wasn't great yesterday. The Chargers-Dolphins, great game.
More preseason. Give me more preseason, Gene.
No.
You need more preseason.
No.
It felt like a fourth preseason game. In a lot of instances, it was sloppy, and it felt like it was almost like a fourth preseason game.
Yeah, and I know you're going to say, well, the Giants aren't as bad and the Steelers aren't as bad.
It's funny. I'm going to say that because that's exactly what I'm going to say.
And this is what I would also say, that there have been 57 Super Bowl winners to date. And what would you think those records would be for the Super Bowl winners over time in week 1?
In week 1. So your thing is week 1 is important because you're going to tell me that there's an overwhelming winning percentage for the teams that win week 1 that they will win the Super Bowl.
46-10-1.
Teams
that win the Super Bowl, that's their record in week 1. Now, we have recent instances, and maybe this is the bias. Oh, my goodness. Remember Buffalo beating New England 31-0 on opening day with Laurie Malay? Ha, ha, ha. New England won the Super Bowl that year. Or remember, hey, there's the Beige Impala and the Kansas City Boring Chiefs defeating New England on opening night. New England won the Super Bowl.
Right.
So you can certainly, and there are recent instances, but it just puts you on notice here for week 2. It really does. So you're the Kansas City Chiefs going to Jacksonville 0-1. And Jay Binkley, he and I were trading texts, and exactly kind of that's everything is fine. There's no problems. The great teams lose all the time in week 1. I'm like, okay. But it just adds a little pressure for you in week 2. There's no doubt.
And maybe that's what they need. Maybe they need a little bit more of that pressure, a little bit more of that juice, a little bit more of that accountability. It's a funny thing, man. I mean, I watched a lot of that Steelers game, and also never take stock in the preseason, ever. Never. Just don't do it. Whatever you see in the preseason is fake news. Yeah. It's a myth. It's a lie. Because if you're a Steeler fan, man, you were just charged with this false sense of optimism that your offense was going to be competent, that you were going to look good come week 1 of the NFL season against the Niners. Hell, I bought into it. I picked the Steelers yesterday on the money line. Dummy. Just a dummy. It's clear San Francisco has more talent than the Steelers have. You would think that would be a no-brainer. Niners look real. Niners aren't as good as they were yesterday. Steelers aren't as bad as they were yesterday. But the Steelers do have some concerns. They do have some things they have to work out. That offense needs to be a lot more efficient. I'm not telling anything you don't already know. And the Niners, the Niners just look complete. They just look like Brock Purdy. I know he's not sexy and nobody's going to like Brock Purdy knows that offense so well. And Shanahan and Purdy trust each other so much. It doesn't really matter that he's not eye-popping with his skill and his ability. He does enough. He does what he needs to do. And, man, they look like they're bought in. Like he's got a leadership quality in him, and he's made everybody around him better somehow.
Yeah, well, they're so physical. The Steelers got out physical. You could say, all right, Pickett was bad. But just to see the receivers block the way they did, and, hey, if you get a full season out of Christian McCaffrey, like, we're all kind of accustomed to him breaking at some point through fantasy football in Carolina, but if you have him in that offense, could he actually be an MVP candidate? I think so.
Sure. If he stays healthy for the entirety of the season, if they use him the way they used him yesterday, absolutely. Yeah, he looked magnificent. Brandon Ayuk was fantastic for the Niners yesterday. Look, the defense is strong. Fred Warner is strong. The hit Fred Warner laid on Najee Harris. And Najee Harris is a big dude. Yeah. Fred Warner just depleted him. Just unbelievable physical play by the Niners against the Steelers. And then, if you were watching just on the local channels, you probably spent some time watching the Browns embarrass the Cincinnati Bengals. You can get in the end zone? Can't even get in the end zone.
No, and like Deshaun Watson had one of the worst throws you could possibly imagine.
I wasn't impressed by Watson's arm. I mean, he knew how to run and tucked and run when he needed to and made the most out of a lot of plays with his feet. But Watson, the passer, still isn't that impressive to me. They got it done.
Well, okay. Are we overreacting to the Bengals? I don't think so because, well, you're pretty much getting those reports. We're not going to pay our number 2 receiver, T. Higgins. And there's the guy that you still haven't paid, Jamar Chase, who doubling down on the Elves comments following the game. That's very immature.
Well, I remind you that's how Cincinnati started last season as well, with a loss to Pittsburgh. And Pittsburgh, we know what Pittsburgh became last season. We know what Cincinnati became last season. It is week 1. We love the overreaction. We love debating it. We love talking it. Settle down, Cowboy fan. Your team is good. You're not as good as 40-0. The Giants, you can breathe easy as well. Like, that was embarrassing. You don't want to be a part of that on national TV, but you're not as bad as you showed last night.
Well, we mean we're not going to have a Miami-Dallas Super Bowl?
I don't think so.
Everything. What about Brandon Staley, though? Like, that supposed defensive coach, that's a problem. Like, I know Tua's good, okay?
I'm not going to go as far as say Tua's good. He has weapons that make him really look good. I mean, the touchdown pass to win was perfectly placed, and he had great stats. His receivers, Tyreek Hill is still really, really good. Jalen Waddle is really good. He made the right throws. He made good throws when he needed to make them. I'll give him credit for that. I'm not buying in. Not buying in.
Nope.
Not after 1 week. I'm not buying in. I need to see more. It's 1 week. And that game was everything I thought it would be. High scoring, back and forth. Didn't it remind you when it became clear there were going to be lead changes and back and forth? I mean, there's really only one Dolphins-Chargers game that you ever really think of.
Yes, that wild card game, 1981.
Yeah. With a certain bespectacled running back for the San Diego Chargers.
Oh, you have Chuck Muncie.
The Chuck Muncie game.
Dan Fouts, and of course, Kellen Winslow being helped off the field.
Yeah.
The hook and lateral play.
I mean, it had shades of that with less on the line, being a week 1 matchup, obviously. But that was a fun game.
Yeah, name me another game that was kind of fun yesterday. Philly, farting around against the Patriots yesterday. What's that all about?
The Vikings, the luck of the Vikings has apparently come to an end.
Gosh, we told you about that. Like, do not take Minnesota in Survivor. Don't do it.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, and by the way, Washington getting by, but it wasn't comfortable. It wasn't comfortable. The margin for error still remains very thin in the NFL, and we survived and advanced with Baltimore advancing. We'll get to week 2 tomorrow. You have your pick ready to go?
I think so.
Yeah.
I reserve it till tomorrow, 4:25. Hopefully you're still alive and going tomorrow. Tomorrow, again, a full show here in the sports bar today, just the 1 hour. Our number, 866-4FAN, 866-4326.
And while you're talking about tomorrow, we should also say tomorrow, as we do every Tuesday, we'll get a full Bills breakdown from Matt Perino from the Syracuse Post-Standard. The Shout podcast. Matt Perino will give us his thoughts on tonight's action tomorrow afternoon, right around this time, right around 3:25.
Yeah, that sounds about good. Bills news today, and it's funny how the team kind of leaked this out, so there's no surprises. Coach's choice here. They're going to go with apparently Cam Lewis as a backup safety tonight over DeMar Hamlin, which I get it. I mean, Lewis had a really good camp, a really good preseason. He also had 2 of the worst plays for the Buffalo Bills last year. The running into the punter that kept Miami alive in that December game, and also, of course, the Justin Jefferson play. But Lewis going in over Hamlin, I think it might just also be let's make sure that we're not putting the spotlight on DeMar Hamlin in this instance here on Monday Night Football. Let's give him a little more work.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And it doesn't matter, no matter what happens moving forward, DeMar Hamlin's your comeback player of the year just by making the team.
No. I heard this morning on the DA show it's Tua. Like, literally, they were making the case for Tua, comeback player of the year. Like, because he had a concussion issues, which, okay, what exactly is he coming back from? Wouldn't he be more like he's arriving? I don't know. I don't understand.
He doesn't have an extension yet, right? They haven't extended him?
Oh.
Dolphins haven't extended he's not their franchise quarterback, right?
This is what I would say to any Dolphin fan that's getting all excited about Tua Tagovailoa. Your team tried to trade him for Deshaun Watson. That's a fact. It wasn't that long ago.
They wanted Tom Brady.
They wanted Tom Brady, right.
They've had more than one instance where they've tried to get out of business with Tua.
So I'll give Tua credit for marching along and being a good soldier.
For sure.
And when you're totally concussed against the Buffalo Bills and your coach tells you to get back in there, you're going to go along with a back injury.
It was a back injury.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'll agree with all of that. I just still am not 100% bought in on the decision-making and the skill. But it was on display yesterday. He had a good game yesterday. Really good game against the Chargers. Put it where it needed to be. His receivers made him look really good. That touchdown pass to Tyreek Hill to win the game was immaculate. It was fantastic. Great job. But I'm not buying in on anybody just yet. I am down on one team.
Oh,
one team specifically.
Is that a team close to your heart? I tried to warn you.
No, I kept my. I want to believe that I always keep my expectations in line. That I try to manage my expectations. Before the season, I have a friend, Tony, who's, God love him, he's kind of like, you know how we say master stroke is like the Bills fan that always looks through rose-colored glasses, and every year during the season of optimism, very excited about what the season holds and believes that this is the year. Tony has a little bit of that in him, and damn it, I bought into it. I bought into it in the preseason. I watched all the preseason games. I'm like, there's this play here. Oh, for week 1, he went through. The preseason means nothing. Shame on me. I should know better. The Bears are a disgrace.
Embarrassing!
Whoa, you were overreacting like a fan.
A disgrace. An absolute disgrace. I know we're going to see them on national TV a couple of times this season. I don't want to see them on national TV. I know I was saying, hey, Gene, you better prepare for a couple of maybe like in October, a weekend where I'm not going to be here because I'm planning on going to see the Bears. I'm not burning a calorie. I'm not spending a dime for that team until I see something that looks anything remotely close to progress. And it kills me to say that because I want Ryan Poles to succeed. I want the pride of Section 5 to have a winner. And this ain't it.
Stop. Okay, so you get the Chiefs in 2 weeks. All right, that's a loss.
They're going to lose to the Bucs next week.
No, they will beat the Bucs. They get Mr. Unlip. By the way.
Well, if you would just stop worrying about Russell Inc., stop kissing babies.
They lost to the Raiders.
I know.
You get the Commanders, you get the Vikings. You shouldn't be scared of the Vikings, and you get the Raiders. You're going to be farting around coming up in December. I'm telling you. But the one thing that I thought, whoever's working PR-wise with Ryan Poles, they throw up the graphic during that game. It's some quote along the lines of, well, we want to go from hoping to win games to actually trying
winning,
just competing to win.
Yeah. Oh, it's dumb, just dumb. And for being a defensive-minded head coach, Matt Eberflus, I don't know, dude. Jordan Love doesn't have a ton of experience. Maybe dial up some pressure from time to time. I don't think they blitzed him once. I don't think they dialed up pressure once. I don't think they got to him once. Not once. Correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe there was a sack. Maybe there was Ngakoue maybe got to him once. Mm-hmm. But no pressure, no blitzing, nothing. He picked them apart. Jordan freaking Love. And I saw what you did. I saw you egging me on. You think I was going to respond? I'm not feeding you any chum.
Listen, this is how much of a finger quote friend I am. The danger there, just like when things are starting to go south. I thought you would find that funny, like me sending you LL Cool J's "I Need Love."
No,
I need love.
No, my fantasy football team appreciated his performance, but no, I was not in the mood. And I'm sitting in my buddy Tony's basement, and we're eating our feelings. We're eating garbage plates. We're drinking beer, and we're just hating ourselves, hating this team, hate watching the team that I've loved my entire life. It was bad. It was bad. It was embarrassing.
Embarrassing.
You can reach us on Twitter as Chris does. Titan Fans Day. Go out, you get DeAndre Hopkins, you have Tannehill throw to him, down by 4 with just over 2 minutes to play. You kick a field goal. Yes, okay, so this is the one. Because it was Tennessee and New Orleans, nobody's really paying attention to this. You have the ball in the red zone. There's 2 minutes left to go. You are down by 4 points. And he kicked the field goal, Vrabel, and they never
hoping
got
they would get the defense
ball back.
Yeah.
Never got the ball back, and they lose 16-15.
Defensive-minded head coach.
Yep.
Going to believe in my defense. Hey, for what it's worth, Ryan Tannehill's putrid. He looked horrible in that game. He didn't look good at all.
No, he shot.
Yeah, he looked bad. I mean, Will Levis is coming in at some point, right? We're going to see Will
He's
Levis.
Not good either, though.
Yeah, Tannehill looked bad. So I guess in that regard, yeah, I don't blame you. Take the points because who knows if your defense is you're better served letting your defense try to win you that game than letting rag arm Ryan Tannehill win that game for you. He was bad. All right, we got to take a break here, Gino. We're going to come back. We've got some takes on tap with I'll drink to that.
Okay, so I'm a baseball fan. You like baseball, and I don't follow.
I like baseball too.
What's that?
Chris Rock.
Thank you.
Oh, you want to get a couple of dudes together?
Yeah.
Oh, my wife wants to get together with her friends. Cool. She's going to bring her husband over. We have nothing in common. I like baseball. Oh, I like baseball too.
That's you and every SUNY Brockport reunion you
got
go
it, buddy.
to. Yeah, like
That's
I
me.
like football. Do you like football?
No. Okay, now what do I talk about? Oh, crap.
We all like baseball to some degree, and I guarantee that most of us missed this story. When I read it this morning, I'm like, what? This happened yesterday, and it's not good for the Yankees.
Okay.
And it's like, and actually, I'm Yankee fans. I'm going to try to put a positive spin on this. And I don't know. Like, it's the question that every program that is short of being a national championship contender in college football should be asking themselves, why didn't we pursue Deion Sanders? Can we be the first show that actually asks this question in a different light here in Western, or should I say Central, upstate New York?
Yeah. Okay. Big change to your consumption as you'll see something has returned to your life, but I wouldn't get too comfortable with it. We'll get into that and more next. Some takes on tap on the way in the sports bar. It's Danger and Battaglia on the Fan, and you can always join us by calling us at 866-4326. That's the Good Smoke Barbecue and Pub Wingman line, 866-4FAN. Best barbecue in town? That's easy. Good Smoke Barbecue and Pub in East Rochester. Award-winning barbecue, lunch, dinner, catering, and must-try weekday specials like Taco Tuesday and Wacky Wing Wednesday. Tuesdays, you got Good Smoke's chicken, pork, or beef gorditas for just $3. Wacky Wing Wednesdays, buy one, get one free wings. Good Smoke's giant signature wings for buy one, get one free on all 6 or 12 wing dine-in orders. On top of that, Good Smoke's Super Happy Hour features buy one, get one draft beers and $3 well drinks weekdays from 2 until 6. Good Smoke Barbecue and Pub, 135 West Commercial Street in East Rochester.
From local town councils to Capitol Hill, agents who are realtors are standing up for what's right. We're here protecting property rights.
update.
Just one game left involving Week 1, and that involves the Buffalo Bills against the New York Jets tonight. Multiple reports saying that safety Damar Hamlin will be inactive for Buffalo tonight, with Cam Lewis serving as a backup. Steve Tasker today on One Bills Live reminding us what today is about.
It's one of the things that has united our country over the past couple of decades. And I hope it strikes a bell for all Americans that we can unite over this for at least a moment in this day and age. So I'm all about it. I think it's an honor for the Bills to be playing in that game. And I hope they show up big time as a tribute to those people who lost their lives.
Pre-game coming up at 4 o'clock here on the Fan Rochester. Chris Brown, Eric Wood, and Sal Capaccio with the call tonight at 8:15. Pac-Man Jones arrested at a Cincinnati airport today. This for being an unruly passenger. Braves lead the Phillies 8-6, top of the 8th. Gene Battaglia, the Fan Rochester.
The beer is cold and the wings are hot. You're in the Sports Bar with Danger and Battaglia on the Sports Leader, 95.7 FM and AM 950 The Fan, Rochester.
Abbreviated this afternoon in the Sports Bar. Danger and Battaglia, happy you're with us. Your pre-game show as the Bills and Jets kick off just after 8 o'clock tonight on the Fan. Pre-game gets underway at the top of the hour here, coming up at 4 o'clock. Before we get to that, some takes on tap. Here's I'll drink to that.
Yeah, so chances are you were focused on an NFL Sunday, as you should be on the NFL. And that doesn't make you a bad baseball fan, right? So with that being said, you might have missed a story. The Yankee 20-year-old rookie phenom, center fielder Jason Dominguez, he repped up his elbow. He was in the lineup yesterday, was taking batting practice, and his elbow wasn't feeling right. It was inflamed, and they went to go check it out, and what do you know? 4 home runs since his call-up when he was in Rochester, by the way, from a couple weeks ago. And now, looking like 9 to 10 months rehab for a torn UCL. Terrible. I feel bad for Yankee fans because, well, this is the hope right next year. And setting the Dominguez injury aside, look, maybe this is actually a good thing. No false hope here. You need change. This team wasn't going to go anywhere. And the likelihood of the band coming back together with these fake wins here in September, that ain't it. And if your number one reason for turning things around is a 20-year-old, well, your team has some issues here.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, but they're going to run it back, right? It's going to be everybody.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm surprised how many Yankee fans are actually getting excited about this supposed push. Like you're going to get in and somehow this is going to be some magical run. This team is seriously flawed. And when we talked to our guy from Ballcap Sports,
Jim Riley.
Yeah, very, very insightful when he said that Brian Cashman
has
a hyphenated last name of Cashman Steinbrenner. That's so accurate.
Yeah, absolutely. They're going to run it back. Hey, anybody out there still subscribing to Spectrum? Just no? Well, we noticed it when we came into the Sports Bar on our monitors here. Disney and Charter got a deal done just in time for tonight's football game. You would have seen it on 13 WAM, and of course you can hear it here on the Fan Rochester as well. I can't believe, though, and I find it puzzling, unless, I don't know this, maybe Charter owns Fubo, but they were actually alerting fans of other platforms, streaming platforms, that they could find the content that they were missing from Disney while the two sides were negotiating. That led to that blackout that we had here for the last week and a half or so. And Fubo here might see a nice uptick in subscriptions. If you think this is the last time that this is going to happen, whether you're on Fubo, whether you're on Spectrum, any YouTube TV, any of the platforms, it won't. It happens all the time. And I'm of the belief a lot of these companies want to get out of the content business altogether. The expense of doing the kind of programming that ESPN does means that these companies are paying more for it, and therefore we're paying more for it, and they would rather focus on, providing the internet that we actually need to watch the video. What's more profitable for a company like Charter? To give us the internet, or to actually have to pay for the stuff that you're streaming across the internet that they're providing?
Dude, they've been doing this for a while now. It just kind of brings it into focus. By the way, Fubo is owned by one guy. David Gandler is the guy's name.
Oh, okay.
So probably he's going to sell at some point. Good for him that he founded this, and it's going to, who knows, maybe it gets flipped to Charter or whatever at some point. And I have Fubo, and it's pretty good.
It's a good product.
I would vouch for it. But you bring up an interesting point, how wait a second, what are we going crazy here about producing content? Because I know it's not on your list, Danger, but anybody that has watched Winning Time, it's an A-plus series. If you like the NBA from the 80s, it just brings you back. It is so well done. It might be John C. Reilly is fantastic, who's always been this character actor, but to see him as Dr. Bus, fantastic. Wait a second. They might cut it short, and maybe this has a little bit to do with the writer's strike, but
sure.
Also, they're not promoting it. Also, I'd have to think there's a huge expense that goes into it. And okay, well, you know what? We did that. We don't need to continue the series here. We got Gene and other, fools to subscribe. So
But there's a reason why Netflix is struggling all of a sudden. Disney Plus is struggling. It's not cheap to produce the kind of shows, the content that they're producing. And maybe the better business model is, hey, we don't have any overhead because we're not paying for any of the content. All we're doing is giving you the one thing that you absolutely must have in order to enjoy the content, and that's the internet.
Yes, and there's competitors out there, and we don't really have them. I know there's the one outfit that's making their way around neighborhood to neighborhood here in town, but we'll get to a point where it feels like a monopoly right now with Spectrum, in town if you want.
I would push back on that a little bit. I think there's plenty of options for you if you want it. I mean, yes, Spectrum has, because they were first, right? And a lot of people had Roadrunner back in the day, and you just kind of stuck with it, and it got upgraded through the course of time. But there are options. Frontier has always provided it, and they're working hard to kind of go fiber and do everything that they need to do to be competitive. And you could certainly use Verizon or T-Mobile or your carrier of choice if you wanted to as well. There are options out there, but as far as your top of mind, it's probably Spectrum and everybody else.
Yeah. Every stuck in the mud college football program should be asking themselves, and I'm sure their boosters are asking this question, how, and maybe more importantly, why did we miss out on Deion Sanders? He ended up in Boulder, Colorado. Let me take a little sidetrack here. How great is it that Vegas was embarrassed? They didn't move the line. Every sharp out there is like, nope. Nebraska. And you shied away. And wait a second.
I stayed away. I wanted to bet that game, but I was afraid to bet with my heart because my heart was telling me, look, I'm in on Deion. Everything that he's doing, I love. I could see that team being in the mix when it's all said and done. I would love to see them run the table and be a part of that bigger conversation. And the way you see them play, it's why not them?
I was there. Well, look, Hart, yes, but they went on the road against a team that was in the national championship game, won, put up 45 points. Why all of a sudden would things flop in a home opener in a setting where you've never had anything close to that?
Now, the first half made me kind of skeptical. I'm like, okay, well, maybe. But they turned it on. That whatever he said at halftime woke his guys up, and they were a different team in that second half. They looked amazing.
So let me get back to the original question. What if your team, what if your program never is doing anything? Let me rephrase that question. What would Coach Prime have looked like in Syracuse?
Well, I think if you reverse engineer this, the question you're asking is how and why did we miss out on Deion Sanders? The answer to that is Deion Sanders doesn't want you. He's not going to have you. This is a guy that through his career has never stayed in one place. He wants to be where the action is. He wants to win. He's not going to come to a place like Syracuse where I could turn it around, but I don't want to go to Syracuse. He went to Colorado because that's where he wanted to go. He's going to go. Now he's at the point where he can go where he wants to go.
Dude, they won one game last year, though.
Yeah.
One game. So what you're saying is basically it wouldn't have been his show in Syracuse, or he would have been overshadowed by Abraham?
I don't know. I'm just saying I don't think there was I think he has the ability, given where he is, the stature he carries, the weight he has, he can write his own ticket. Where do you want to coach? I'm going to go coach in Colorado. I'm going to take a one-win team and turn that program around just to show everybody how wrong they are about me. What they think they know about me, they don't know. And I'm going to show them. I love the story so much. And maybe it would have been Syracuse if Syracuse had but there's a little bit more to being in Boulder. I mean, by the way, that was that setting was immaculate, beautiful. How much weight does Deion Sanders have? Did you notice this at the end of the game?
No, where it was calling Fisher football. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. That's right. You were. They showed this in the highlight. I'm pretty sure. The fans are ready to storm the field. and they win the game, and the fans start storming the field. And you see a handful of fans start to run on the field, and they stop, and they turn around, and they go back because Coach Prime requested that they can storm the field. Let me get across the field, shake Coach Rule's hand. Let me get off the field because I'm missing a couple of toes here. I don't want to get crushed. I don't want to. And they obeyed. The students obeyed. They actually rushed the field, turned around, got off the field. When Prime got off the field, then Bedlam. Then they rushed the field in full. It was amazing. I'm like, wow, Deion's security is tight. Deion has weight. That security team, those guys that are around him, no, you get back. Everybody get back. And they did. The students did. When does that ever happen?
So the ESPN Game Day show, they're going to be in Colorado this week.
As
for
they
Colorado,
should be.
As they should be. And it really is one of the biggest sports business blunders of all time. The Pac-12. Could you imagine if that didn't implode, if Colorado did not leave? There's 8 teams in the top 25, and the conference went.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Sad.
And as far as Deion goes, this is what Deion has done his entire career, right? Started in Atlanta when it was clear I'm not going to win one here. I'm going to go where I can win. Niners, Cowboys, wherever it is, I'm going to go to where I can win. And whatever Colorado offered him or gave him was enough. Was enough for him to say, yeah, I'm going to go here and I'm going to win. I can work with this. You're going to let me do it my way? I can do it this way. That's the other thing. A lot of schools, a lot of administrators, there's a lot of ego involved. We do it our way. This is our way. Yeah. You have to be able to shelve that ego, put it aside, and say, I believe. I believe in this guy.
Well, it's also, this is the new way of business in college athletics, and it's pretty clear that Dabo Swinney didn't use the portal. Won't use it. I'm going to use my guys. Nope. It's pretty clear that Nick Saban's actually a half step behind here. Oh my gosh, they lost to Texas.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love it. I love it, man. I think it's the biggest story in sports right now. I mean, the NFL is massive, and everybody's going to talk about the NFL week in and week out. But as far as like the biggest story right now in sports, it's Deion Sanders. It's what he's doing with that program.
So they go to Oregon in 2 weeks.
Yes.
And then they get USC.
Yes.
If you come out of that at 5-0, we are talking about this team that had 1 win last year in the playoff.
That's right. I can't wait. I think it's so awesome. So awesome. Great for college football, and good on Deion Sanders and good on that team. I think it's fantastic. All right, we got to close up shop next. We got to get you to kickoff here. Later on tonight, we got pregame on the way here coming up at 4 o'clock. Bills-Jets, Monday Night Football from the Meadowlands. We'll get the Buffalo Bills Radio Network crew on with us here just at 4 o'clock coming up here at the top of the hour. The NFL season is here, and now is the time to get incredible offers from FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. It's me, Danger, for FanDuel Sportsbook, the official partner of 95.7 The Fan. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. Plus, all customers who bet $5 will get $100 off the NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Now is the best time to join FanDuel. The app is easy to use. You can bet on everything from spreads to player props and more. So visit FanDuel.com/Mike, M-I-K-E. Kick off the NFL season with an offer you won't want to miss. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL. 21 plus and physically present in New York. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. For help with a gambling problem, call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. NFL Sunday Ticket offer ends 9/18/23. No refunds. Terms and embargoes apply. $100 off NFL Sunday Ticket, not YouTube TV. YouTube TV base plan required to watch YouTube TV. Redemption requires a Google account and current form of payment. Commercial use excluded. Subscription renews. Cancel anytime.
Odyssey has sports for every fan. Keep up with your
Rochester.
Are you chewing ice?
No.
What are you chewing? It's like you shot clock went off on Danger and rare miscue there. Like the Steelers there. You need a little more work, but
I'm eating candy.
Candy?
Yeah.
Oh, the nerds or whatever somebody left that in as bait for you.
Is that what it is? I'm convinced that's what it was.
Yeah.
It was just taunting me for like weeks. I'm joking. Just sitting there in the studio. Somebody is daring me to eat those. And I'll eat them. I didn't want to eat them on the air. That's terrible, and I apologize. And yes, you're right. Shot clock went off.
Shot clock went off.
I wasn't ready. But that's what happens when the heavy lift is underway. The heavy lift is our abbreviated show. 1 hour today. We'll have a couple of these throughout the course of the year, right?
Well, you got the Monday night against Denver. That should be interesting. You've
Mr. Unlimited.
Got Thursday night football against the Buccaneers.
Mm-hmm.
That's also coming up in October.
Yeah, we'll have a couple of heavy lifts.
Oh, we should mention, hey, we're going to be at Three Heads Brewing coming up Friday. Our Friday Football Spectacular.
Amen, brother. Can't wait for Friday Football Talk Live back at Three Heads again this season. And we'll be there live starting at 3 o'clock. Special guests stopping by as always. We've already got some of our regulars chiming in. Yacht Rock John is bringing, he says, some more of the Yacht Club may be stopping by. Maybe one of these times we can get Yacht Rock John and Yacht Club to perform. Like they can perform after we're done, and we can all hang out and listen to Yacht Rock after.
So basically, like you're like Letterman, and you're going to toss it over there and do a little live performance.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Yacht Club. Except I wouldn't do it like that. Ladies and gentlemen, you're about to enjoy some smooth sounds from Yacht Rock John and Yacht Club.
Dude, would you get up there and sing?
I won't sing.
I would do it.
I'm not singing.
Come on, there's got to be like a Yacht Rock that would be within your range.
I'm
good octave.
No, I can't do Benny Mardones.
No.
I'd be doing him a disservice. But I could go up there and be smooth. We could talk about how
there's a girl.
Ambrosia is nectar of the gods. Or maybe I'm getting my metaphors mixed up. This is smooth Yacht Rock. No. Yacht Club is on.
No ambrosia. No looking glass. Come on, you could get up there.
Dude, I'm telling you, when I saw Yacht Club perform a couple of weeks ago, and John, I think I already said this on the air once, their first song of the set was Ride, Captain, Ride. And you just listen to that song. It's so ridiculous. How do you not smile when you hear Ride, Captain, Ride aboard your mystery ship? And I'm just laughing. It brought so much joy. And I was there with my kid, and we had a blast. They're the best. Thank you for stopping out, John. We look forward to Friday. And we look forward to seeing you and all the rest of our regulars out there on Friday at Three Heads on Atlantic Avenue in the neighborhood of the arts. We will be previewing week 2, Bills Raiders, but we have week 1 to get to first for the Buffalo Bills. And that's happening tonight. So the Bills are in the Meadowlands. Gene has the Jets winning. Not panicking, but the Jets win.
No, and I think it's going to be 27-20 New York. I mean, it's going to be one of those where the Bills will, just like last year, have the ball at the end and not be able to get it done.
I have the Bills winning 24-20. That would be the under in this game, but the Bills would cover as it stands right now in FanDuel. So I have the Bills winning tonight, and then we come back tomorrow and we react to all of it. And when we want to talk Buffalo Bills, we only want to talk to the best and brightest that are covering the team. That's why every week, Tuesdays at 3:25, we bring in Matt Perino from the Syracuse Post-Standard, the Shout Buffalo Bills podcast. We will be talking with Matt Perino tomorrow afternoon.
He was on SNY, too, like everywhere.
He's everywhere. He's the best. So Perino joins us tomorrow afternoon. We'll unpack all of it and try to make sense of tonight. Kickoff just after 8 o'clock here on The Fan Rochester. We've got Buffalo Bills pregame coming up for you next. 4 hours of Bills pregame on the way next. So sit back, enjoy, get ready for kickoff, and enjoy the Bills and the Jets. Week 1 of the 2023 NFL season is upon us. We appreciate you checking us out here. Danger and Battaglia on The Fan Rochester.
It's that time.